Welcome to Speed Round Sunday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share a mini episode from our past for your weekend listening pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. We wanted to talk today on our Speed Round about bad parenting advice. So, maybe it's because you got advice from someone who was a generation or two removed from their child rearing days and it wasn't very good. Or have you ever given bad parenting advice?
Never.
Maybe because
isn't that what we do here every week,
that
Catherine?
is our professional. Yeah, we're not going to admit to that. But anyway, maybe you can share something bad you've heard recently or some bad advice you did receive, either back in the day or recently. I don't know. Terry, have you gotten some at any point that you want to share?
When I first adopted my kids, we got absolutely no advice or support from our adoption agency at all. We adopted 2 kids from Eastern Europe. Nobody knew anything at that point. All the research on adopting kids from Eastern Europe was done with my generation of kids. So now I find things online that have super, super good advice that nobody knew to give then. It's like I came upon an article the other day and I shared it with my daughter, and it's like, if I had known this stuff, everything would have been different. So pretty much all of the advice I was given was bad. I still look back and resent all the advice that was basically, your kids have disabilities. They're never going to amount to anything. The sooner you accept that, the better. If you don't accept that, you are unrealistic. Mom is in denial, and it's like, well, to some extent, yeah, that's true. But on the other, who would ever tell any other parent, hey, expect the worst for your kid. Start right now. Then you won't be disappointed. Yeah. And yet lots of kids don't turn out too great for no good reason. But you don't start with that.
And lots of kids who are you're told that they're not going to turn out great, do turn out.
But even if they don't, at least you start with hope.
Yeah, you don't.
Nobody else gets told, you know what, a kid's not going to amount to anything. Don't get your hopes up. Everybody's told, hey, hope for the best and let's see what happens. Kids with at least my generation of parents of kids with special needs were told, the sooner you completely accept that your life is ruined, the easier things will go for you. So now, all the general, talk of the disability community parenting of children with disability community has changed a lot and has become a lot more upbeat, I feel. Whether it's more realistic or not, I don't know, but it's a lot more pleasant to live with. I don't know, but I'm sure there are still therapists in schools today and teachers in schools today going, that mom, just won't accept. Just won't accept how limited her child is.
Yeah.
So maybe that was good advice and I should have taken it. I don't know. There are days and then there are days. But I hated that advice and I still do.
Well, I hated, first of all, just being asked if my child was sleeping through the night because... if they are, then we have nothing to talk about. If they're not, I also don't want to talk about it. And then as soon as someone would find out, no, they're not sleeping through the night. Are you breastfeeding? Yes. Oh, well, you should give them formula or you should give them cereal and then they'll sleep.
And if you were giving them formula, they would have told you to do breastfeeding.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? No. This is not why my kid is not sleeping. And even if it was, then I'm going to suck it up for a while. And, I don't know. Yeah. I also hated hearing it'll get better soon because
that is not helpful.
That is so not helpful. Yeah, maybe it will, but I can't see past, a day. I'm not looking as to what's going to happen in a month from now or 3 months or a year. That is way too hard. So just stop.
Yeah. In general, things when your kids are little, things that have long-term are annoying. It's like, can I just get through today, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I can quite definitively say that the worst advice I ever received was from my mother, who suggested I move my sleeping baby.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. He couldn't possibly have his naps in his car seat. He had to be taken out of the car seat and put into his crib. And I was so sleep deprived and so tired and just a mess that I, blindly took her advice. And that just set the wheels in motion for the next 20 years.
Have you told her that it's all her fault? Or you just silently resent her?
Silently. I just talk about it on this podcast.
Nobody tell Nicole's mom.
No. Worst advice ever.
Yeah, that's like 101.
Move that sleeping.
Never wake a sleeping baby.
See, I was like vulnerable and tired and okay, Mom. It was like, I don't know, 1 a.m. or something crazy because he hadn't been sleeping, and I took him for a drive in the car seat and he fell asleep, and I brought him in the house, and I think I was crying by that point too. And I remember calling her up and, finally he's asleep and I'm so tired and I can't do this. And she said, well, you've got to take him out of that car seat. You can't leave him in there. Now that he's finally asleep, you have to take him out and put him in his bed. Yeah, the rest is history. So, as you can tell, there's a certain theme with my responses in this podcast.
You know what I should have said earlier, the worst piece of advice I got was when my son toilet trained fairly late. And when he was, I don't know, maybe 4, his occupational therapist told me that I was infantilizing him by not forcing him to do it and that I should use suppositories.
What?
And she was disgusted with me that I would not do this, that I would not force him. And I said, he's really not ready. He doesn't feel when he has to go. There's no way this is going to work. And I held my ground despite all the eye rolls and the, charges of infantilizing him. And when he was ready, he trained in a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that. He was dry all night. Everything was great. It's like, if you wait, this is my good advice for people, wait till they're ready. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble. Yeah. But I have wanted so many times. I still know that occupational therapist, and I talk to her every now and then. I keep wanting to say, I was right and you were wrong. Worst advice ever. For the record. Oh, well.
Well, we certainly have a lot to say about these topics. But
you can tell we've brushed it all off, and we're not resenting it at all. We're very well balanced.
We buried it. We buried it.